All right, we're here in Island Hills in Michigan. Myself and Luke got the pleasure of playing the Michigan Tour. Here's the assistant director.
Justin Osborne, assistant tour director of the Michigan Tour. And I'm here presenting the trophy to the champ flight winner, Luke Blum from Chicago. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, Justin. It was a great battle.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure coming up. Almost you guys.
Almost caught you on the back nine.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely. We always have a good battle when we get together.
We do.
Yeah, and I think you guys are having us up here too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with Springbrook being moved to the 30th, we had to find somewhere to play. Because God forbid we love our families on a weekend.
No
chance. We have to be for golf somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Justin.
Welcome back to the Post Birdie podcast. Special guest with me, Champ Flight, and the winner yesterday at TPC Wisconsin, Cameron Logan. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Yesterday was a tough day, especially on that front nine. Lots of wind. Tell me about your round.
Yeah, first time playing TPC Wisconsin. And typically before I play any round, I use my, virtual golf apps and try to kind of scout out the course. And a lot of what seemed to be fescue was actually, water and penalty area. And so what seemed to be a pretty, grip it and rip it, with the exception of a few holes from the tees that we were playing, turned out to quickly be very strategic off the tee to keep yourself in play, especially with, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds that we were dealing with all day. And, I hit a good drive on one. And then after that, I hit a good drive on one. I hit a good drive on two. And then after that, everyone in our flight especially in our group, we were just fighting to keep the ball in play the entire day. So it was very tough out there. Beautiful course. But, we even heard, from the pro and the pro shop and some other folks that even the PGA Champions Tour said that this course is way too hard. So I can break down, my whole round if you want me to. That's how nerdy I am with golf. But yeah, hole one, I was feeling good. Middle of the fairway, approach shot. Had a 20-footer for birdie. Ended up 3-putting. Hole two, another good, gettable par 5. Hit it right down the middle. I had 230. I felt like the wind was hurting and kind of off the left. And so in my mind, I told myself to just be patient with the round and work my way into my aggressiveness. But, you get standing over that ball and you feel like you got a green light. And I just kind of hit my 5-wood. It kind of flew me. I had a mud ball because we were playing the ball down, and it kind of just went a little bit left on me. Hits the mound on that. You remember that par 5 too? Hits the mound by the bunkers near the green, and it just kind of kicks, rolls across the cart path into the penalty area. We were able to spot it and see it. And I was going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to just take, a penalty or take my unplayable and hit a smarter shot. But I tried to play hero ball, pitched it sideways. I probably advanced it 1.5 yards, ended up blading my next shot over the green into the penalty area that I couldn't receive, made a 7 there. So it was a rough start for everyone in our group. I think first hole, pretty much everyone went out of bounds except me. Second hole was a lot of more penalties. And so we were just fighting to just stay in the fairway. We kind of settled into the round. I made a birdie from off the green on 3. 4 was another difficult wind. Felt like it was off the left. I tried to hit a fade and it stayed left. So we saw where my ball went, couldn't find it, fighting for par, ended up making bogey there. All the par 3s were very long, and I think only the par 3 4th or 5th hole, I think that was the only hole that the wind was maybe helping. So it was just very tough out there. Now we're getting towards the middle of the round. I make birdie on 9, and I'm like, okay, let's calm down now. Let's just play golf. You're not gonna shoot a score that you want to shoot. So let's just play to win a trophy. And so I eliminate all the big numbers on the back 9, and now my playing competitor Darren really good player, has a really good swing. I knew it was really going to come down to a battle between him and I. And he started kind of heating up a little bit, made birdie on 10. I ended up making a bogey. And then we had back-to-back par 5s, 11. He makes par. I make par. 12. He has honors. I let him hit. That's that split, fairway directly into the wind. He hits it into the hazard. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hit 4-iron. I hit 4-iron, chip it up there. Missed the par putt by an inch. And so I'm just like, all right, let's just truck along here and try to eliminate big numbers. And then we get to, long story short, we get to 16, the drivable 290-yard hole. And he goes first. He hits an iron right in the middle of the fairway. I grab my 4-iron and I'm like, let's just do the same thing. But I have a crazy mind. And so I was like, let's hit a stinger. I topped it and it went about 33 yards. And I was on a downslope, very difficult next 2 shots. Ended up making bogey on that hole. So now he's up 1. We get to the par 3 17th. I hit a beautiful shot. It was 11 feet, 5 inches. And I just didn't give the putt any pace to potentially put me, back tied with him. He had kind of missed it left. And, he's a good player. So I was like, he's going to make bogey at worst, but he probably should make par. He ends up making par. Chris makes birdie, 22-foot birdie bomb. And then I end up making par. So now we're on 18 and I'm like, I gotta do something here. And so I'm just, doing my breathing techniques. Now my heart's racing. Like my heart's racing and my hands are shaking because I'm like, I really want to win this tournament. And so we both hit, our hybrids and we're literally in the geometric center of the fairway. And I think I outdrove him by 5 inches. So he had honors and it felt like it was down. And so he hits, I don't know what club he hit, but he hit his approach shot into 18 and it went a little long. He was probably in the fringe. I probably had a 50-foot putt. That was a tricky putt on 18. So I had 155 yards. I'm like, I got adrenaline pumping. I feel like it's a little bit downwind. So I hit kind of a chippy pitching wedge to about 22 feet just left of the pin on 18. He comes down for his birdie opportunity, and he kind of runs it by another 12, 15 feet. So now he's going to have a 15-footer for par to, stay 1 up on me. He blows it by. Then I go for my 20-footer, and I tell myself, this is downhill, Cam. Let's not try to make it. Let's just try to cozy it up there. And the adrenaline kind of got the best of me. I kind of ran it by probably about 4 feet. And so, those aren't comfortable putts that you really want to have when you're trying to seal a tournament. But then he ends up missing his par putt, and he has another 6-footer, 5 or 6-footer for bogey, makes his bogey putt. I make my par putt. And now I had been checking the leaderboard on my phone the entire time. He really, I can't say that he wasn't, but I don't think that he was, because when we finished, I knew that we were tied. And as we were, getting ready to head into scoring, Clay and Chris go, "Hey, Cam, Darren, you guys are tied. We might have to go to a playoff." So I'm like, well, let's just go inside scoring. Let's just make sure, the electronic scorecard and the paper scorecard match. So we go inside, everything matches. We're both tied up with 84s. And so we're like, hey, we got to go to a playoff. Now, Keith, who's the chapter president for the Milwaukee tour, he was in the last group. So he wasn't going to be able to come out and kind of get everything going. So we talked to the pro. He said, yeah, you guys can go out to 1. We don't have any more groups. And then our other playing competitors, Chris and Clay, they came out and kind of, refereed the playoff hole. And so we get to 1, we flip a tee to see who goes first. I got honors, so I went first. And now I hit driver to start the tournament on 1. But I was like, there's no way I'm hitting driver after hitting it squirrely the rest of the round. So I knew with some adrenaline, I could hit, my 5-wood pretty far. So I take 5-wood and I just try to hit a little cut, hold it up against the wind. And I was in the middle of the fairway, but I was kind of on that mound. They had some mounds in the middle of the fairway. So it was kind of on an upslope. He hits a 4-iron, I believe. and he has about 189 to 193 into the green. He misses it short right, so he has, probably a 22-foot, pitch shot. I had 154, 155. All day I've had this thing while I'm playing around, a fear of going long. So I was like, I don't want to be long here. So I was like, okay, it's 10 mile an hour into the wind. I'm feeling the breeze. I'm like, okay, like, do I want to just try to hit a rope draw 9-iron and potentially go out of bounds? Or do I just want to float up a soft little 8-iron? So that's what I did. I grabbed the 8-iron and I was just like, I'll try to hit a cut and, let the wind stop it. It lands short right. It doesn't go in the bunker. So my chip or my second shot ends up shorter than his shot. So I have honors on the chip. It's a chip off now. So I go first. All day I have been chipping with my 60 because that's just typically what I chip with. But I love short game. So I knew that, I'd probably want to play a lower shot into that back pin on one. So I grabbed my 55 degree. I kind of play it mid stance, toe down, and I knew the green was kind of running to the right. And so I just picked a spot probably 5 feet left of where the pin was. And I hit a beautiful chip. I hit exactly how I wanted to. It may have gone a little bit more right than I wanted, but I had a 5-footer, 4 or 5-footer for par that I knew I could make. Darren then goes and he has his chip shot. He was at a different angle than me. He's probably 5 yards in front of me at a different angle. And because of the angle he had, he was going to have to take a more direct line at the pin. And his chip shot kind of came out low with not much spin. So it kind of, typically you have the skip, stop. His kind of skipped and like ran out. So he had probably a 10 to 12 footer for par. And I had a 4 or 5-footer for par. So he goes and, now in my head, I'm like, it's match play. I played plenty of match play matches, club championship matches where it's like, in my naivety, I was like, oh, they're going to miss this. But you kind of learn as you continue to play more competitive golf, always expect them to make it. So you're not razzled when they do make it. So I'm like, he's going to make this and I'll just have to make mine. And, we're either going to play one again or we're going to go to 2. And so he misses it and he has 3 feet, for par. And he's like, all right, Cam, do what you need to do. And I step up there and my hands are like, like phasing out, like shaking. My heartbeat is racing and I'm trying not to think of all the other playoffs that I've lost. And I'm like, all right, Cam, like, let's just, breathe. I watched this video Steph Curry did where he was talking about when he feels pressure, he just does this breathing technique where he breathes in and counts to 5 and then he breathes out and counts to 5. And he's like, you can't think about anything else when you're focusing on your breathing. And so I did that a few times and then I just took a deep breath and I was like, all right, Cam, it's just an easy putt. And I hit it dead center and I made it and got the win after, a very unlikely day where I hit it all over the map. It felt good to get the win. And so, yeah, that's how the day went. It was also pretty cool that Steve Stricker and his daughter were playing a few holes in front of us. So I got to watch him and his daughter hit a few shots. And so all around, great day. Golf Week, they give great trophies. And so, yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, this was your first Golf Week and Tour win.
Yeah, first win on Golf Week. I play the Amateur Players Tour and I play Golf Week. Member of both. And so the competition is definitely stiffer on Golf Week. And so, this win definitely, felt better, especially with the conditions and the course setup. Definitely a tour level course, tour greens, tough competition coming down the stretch. Didn't have my best stuff, but we got it done. And so every tournament I played on Golf Week, I've come in second or third. At Blackstone, I came in third. It was a second place tie, but I ended up getting pushed to third. So, but yeah, I'm just glad to get a win. And so, yeah, it feels good to be a champion on Golf Week Tour. And I see you got all your beautiful trophies back there. That's my goal in a few years, to have a bunch of Golf Week trophies sitting back here somewhere in the background.
Oh, you have tough competition with Matthew Payne and Luke Baum and Jake Gary and Champ Flight. Those guys can flat out play.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy. And hopefully we can do this again.
Welcome back to the Post Birdie Podcast. This is your host, Jeremy Schneider. As always, Bill Persecki, our Chicago tour director, is with me to talk about the upcoming events here in Chicago.
Yeah, nice to be here. And we're coming down to the wire on the end of the season here. It should be a fun last couple weekends for us.
So this coming weekend, we have two local events. One of them was a makeup rain out for the event that was supposed to be last weekend. Tell me about those two events.
Yeah, so first one on Saturday at Heritage Oaks. Course that we have played before. I don't think I played in that tournament, but I believe it was on our schedule in either 2022 or 23, somewhere in there. But nice course up in Northbrook. They recently put a lot of money into it too. I don't think they did a ton with the course. I think they did maybe just some small, like, cosmetic type of updates, but mostly they put a lot of money into the rest of the facility. So they put a lot of money into the range, the bar and restaurant. They've got a whole, like, indoor type of thing there too for the winter time. So they've really built out the facility a lot more since the last time we were there. That course it's a nice course, a pretty straightforward course. And it's a little shorter too. It only tips out at like 6,300 yards. So should be an interesting one for our Champ and A fighters who are used to playing on, 65, 66, 6,700. But still should be a good test. And then, Sunday, we've got our makeup round at Springbrook. This is where we were supposed to play last week and decided it was best just to reschedule it given the weather. I don't actually know if Springbrook stayed open last week. I know a lot of courses in the area closed down for the day because of all the rain that we had the week leading up to that Saturday. So I never actually followed up with them. I don't actually know if they stayed open, but it doesn't seem like it would have been a very enjoyable day. We would have been walking, which would have been fine. We've had walking tournaments before, but it would have been so wet. I think we would have had a lot to deal with, a lot of casual water and stuff like that. And the fact that when I called Springbrook, the fact that they had a date available for our same block of tee times just 2 weeks later, it was like, all right, let's just do that. The worst case scenario is that we have bad weather this coming Sunday as well. And, then we're kind of in the same boat we were in. But so far, the forecast looks like it'll be all right. But yeah, back-to-back events, Heritage Oaks Saturday, Springbrook Sunday. So it should be a fun weekend to golf.
Yeah, as far as weather goes, I know my course last weekend, I played on Thursday. I got 6 holes in and got rained out. I tried to play on Friday. It didn't really rain. I might have been able to get it in, but it was cart path only both those days. And it was so wet after the rain on Thursday that it didn't seem like a fun idea to walk on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, my course is just closed. That's how much rain we got. So I'm not sure if Springbrook stayed open, but they didn't have carts the entire week. So they're not continuous cart paths. So they either have carts or no carts. There's no cart path only. There's not continuous cart paths there. So I would imagine it's just now getting back to the point where they're allowing carts to go as long as we don't get more rain.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that until you're telling me this, that they didn't have carts all week long. I know there's a lot of other courses that were in that situation as well, because I was supposed to play on Wednesday. You remember we played that private club, Eaglebrook Country Club, last year?
Yes.
So I was supposed to play there with a member on Wednesday. We were texting on Tuesday, and he was like, yeah, they're still not letting carts out at that point. So we could have gone and walked, but we're just going to go, I don't know, we'll go some other Wednesday before the season is out. But Yeah, so I think they're not alone in needing some time to recover from all the rain. So it was, if Springbrook did not have another date, we probably would have given it a shot on that Saturday just to get the tournament in, because I don't really want to just cancel the tournament outright. But the fact that they had a date available, it fit within our schedule. That was an easy call for me. Let's just move it, and we'll have back-to-back days. And I realize that not everybody's going to be able to commit to both days of golf, but just seemed like that was preferable to going out there and getting soaked.
Agreed. Well, moving on to stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks since we haven't talked or even played golf. After the cancellation, there was a couple of players who went up and played in the Michigan event, and we had another winner up there in Michigan, Luke Baum,
Yeah,
once again.
that's win number 6 for him on the season, and 2 in Michigan. And I think he went, I don't know if they had an event in between, but so he's got 2 wins in Michigan in the month of August. Tim McElhaney from the A Flight went up with him as well and played there too. But yeah, Luke got another win. And then TPC Wisconsin this past Saturday, you got a win yourself. Congrats on win number 2 on the season
thank
on the
you.
Milwaukee Tour. And we had Cameron Logan from our Champ Flight win as well. So we had 2 Chicago winners and Champ and A Flight come out of TPC Wisconsin. So that was fun to see as well.
Yeah, TPC Wisconsin is a heck of a course. They've done a great job with that renovation up there. It's not my type of course. I'm a guy that sprays a driver a little bit, and there's some sight lines off the tee that are not very appealing, let's just say, for guys that spray the driver as much as I do. It's a course you have to play a couple times, I think, to really be able to score well, to know what club to hit off the tee and where your sight line should be. But the course was in fantastic shape. It's a TPC course, and they do a really nice job with the greens. All the greens were kind of elevated, so if you miss the green, it's not a very easy up and down. It's very difficult, and there's just enough undulation in the greens that you don't end up with very many straight putts.
Yeah, I could tell just looking at the leaderboard, right? Because we always say, well, now it seems like we've had some pretty low scores in the Chicago events, in a lot of the Chicago events this year. But typically, what you've always said is like 75, 80, 85, 90, 95 is the score you kind of want to shoot in each flight to be somewhere around the lead, right? But like I'm looking at the leaderboard from yesterday, 99 won in the D flight. You shot 85 in A, and that was enough to win by 2. There's only,
Yeah.
I'm counting, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the whole field who broke 90, right? And it's a smaller field because it was a Milwaukee event, so I think we only had maybe 32 people or something. But nobody in the 70s, only 2 people under 85 in Champ Flight. So yeah, when I pulled up that leaderboard, I was like, wow, you must have had some bad conditions or just a really tough course, or maybe a little of both. But it seems like that was a good test.
Yeah, it was quite windy up there, especially in the front 9. And after 3 holes, I went bogey, triple bogey, bogey. So I was 5 over after 3. My kart partner, who's a Milwaukee guy, I played with him a bunch over the years. I told him if I don't break 50, I'm just going to drive home after 9. And I shot 47. And shooting 47, I was only 3 out of the lead. I don't think anybody shot better than 44 on the front 9. And I think
Wow.
in Champ Flight, neither of those guys that ended up in the playoff, I don't think either one of those guys broke 40. I think they were both 42 or 43. So the front 9 with the win was really, really difficult. Now I came back and hit 7 greens on the back 9 and shot 38 to take it by 2. But the wind was down a little bit, and the back 9 is just easier than the front 9.
Yeah, so you're able to score a little bit. Well, I'm glad I didn't go then. I was thinking about going, and ever since like in the last week or so, my swing has gotten away from me a little bit. I actually took a lesson with my coach over at the 5 Iron Golf here in the city, because I played well, 2 weeks ago at Blackstone, but then I don't know what happened in the last week. You know how you get just your swing gets away from you a little bit. You're standing over the ball, not really sure what you're doing, and so I was just not confident that I'd be able to go there and shoot a decent score. So I was like, well, I'd like to play TPC Wisconsin, but I'll pass on this one. And I'm kind of glad I did, because it seems like I would have gone up there and would have had my work cut out for me to just score from what you're saying.
Just for a reference, ran into Ed Monroe up there. He's obviously a Milwaukee guy.
Hmm.
And he told me that he played it a week prior and he lost 11 golf balls on the course. So he said he brought
Wow.
2 dozen golf balls to play the course, play 18 holes. He brought 2 dozen balls. I don't know how he played yesterday, but it's a place where you can lose some golf balls and find golf balls. The guy I play with, his range is, they don't go and pick the range. So you hit your own golf balls. So he just collects golf balls. He had more than a dozen golf balls that he took home with him, and then he just hits them on the range and doesn't even pick them up. It lets other people pick them up. So that's how he gets his
Wow.
practice in. But
That's
you
unique.
go
I
off
hadn't heard of that. That's unique.
you go off the fairway just a little bit, and there's just a lot of trouble. The fairways are generous enough. It's not that hard to hit the fairways, but when you miss the fairways, there's not a lot of miss room before you run into trouble.
Was the rough kind of long too, where people were losing balls in the rough, like when we played Deer Run TPC, or
No.
is it just there's just trouble everywhere?
There's just trouble everywhere. There's not a lot of rough. So after the fairway, there's a little bit of rough and then some very long grass or water. There's a lot of water on that course too. So you're
Interesting.
losing balls.
Okay.
You're losing balls in the crap a lot more. If you hit it in the rough, you could find it pretty easily. The rough was not that high.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to get it back for next year or not, but hopefully Keith is at least thinking about getting it back for next year, because I'd love to get out there and play it. It sounds like sounds like actually maybe even one we should think about, like a combo or something with them for next year, because I like playing courses like that, that's the whole point of the tour, right? It's the whole point of tournament golf, is to kind of test yourself a little bit. So yeah, I'll talk to Keith and see what he's thinking about for next.
Yeah, it's a Steve Stricker course, and he redesigned that course a couple of years ago, and now they're playing the Champions Tour on that course. So it's definitely a course that you want to play if you get a chance to play it. And if they have it next year, even if you don't have it on the Chicago Tour, and you can get up there from Naperville, it was about a 2-hour and 15-minute drive for me to get up there. So it wasn't bad. It was almost all interstate. And moving on to the points race, looking at Champ Flight, I don't know of the actual math here, but I'm pretty sure Luke has wrapped it up at this point. He's got about 1,000, just over 1,000 point lead on you.
Yeah,
Actually,
I think
1,027.
I'm not done. I did the math a while back, but I don't remember. I think even if I win out, he would have to finish like way down the Champ Flight leaderboard, which he's not gonna do. Like, he might in a tournament or two, but he's gonna, Luke's been playing some pretty good golf for the past, month or two, like most of the summer. So I don't anticipate that that'll happen. So I'm fairly certain that he can make his appointment for his next tattoo. But you never know. Obviously, you never know. But so mathematically, is it over? No, but he can probably make that appointment. But we'll see.
Moving down to A Flight, Matt Fricali, who's had the lead most of the summer, he still got me. Looks like by about 6 5.5 exactly. That being said, I am going to TPC Scottsdale next week, 2 weeks, Labor Day weekend. I'm going to TPC Scottsdale, and he usually does the French Lick, but he has a wedding this weekend, I think it was, or that weekend. So he's not going to make that regional. So I'll have a chance to make up some points there, but I have to basically beat him the next 3 tournaments and play well in Scottsdale in order to pull this out.
Yeah, I mean, I think most likely it seems like it's going to come down to the last tournament at Whitetail and Mistwood between the two of you. Kale is there in third, but he can't make either event this weekend, so he's not going to end not playing the regional. So he's not going to be back until Mistwood. So mathematically, he's out of it, because even if he wins Mistwood and gets 900 points, that only gets him to 3,100, and Matt's already got 3,400. So mathematically, it's just the two of you. And yeah, it seems like it's going to come down to the 2-day. But if Matt gets a win in one of these this weekend and picks up 450, that might seal it. But if you can get a win in at least one of the two this weekend, then you can close the gap a little bit, and then you're playing the regional. Then it'll really come down to the Mistwood round. So not over yet.
Ironically, if Matt wins one of these two this weekend, I will win A flight because he'll be champ flight.
Oh, because he'll get bumped up. I forgot about that. Yeah. He's skating on the edge on that 4.2. That's true. I didn't think about that part, but you're right.
Going down to B flight, Paul Chaplin still in the lead, but he's also in that exact same situation. He's at 9.1. He gets to 8.9. He's going to be A flight. And we already had somebody that was leading, Luis, move up to A flight.
Yeah. And Paul played TPC Wisconsin with you yesterday. He shot 90. So I don't know what score, I don't know what round of his was his 16th one going backwards in time, right? But if that was a good round and now he's got a 90 in there, he might get a little more cushion on that 9.1 handicap. But he is close to also getting the A flight bump. We'll see.
Just for purposes of understanding how difficult that course was, a 90 wasn't that bad, especially with the tee boxes they were playing. They were playing something like 72.9 and 134, I think, was the rating and slope there from where
B flight. Wow. Okay.
where B flight was playing. So they do keys 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 being the tips. Champ flight played a 1-2 combo. A flight and B flight played 2. And 2 was between 66 and 6,700 yards. So 2 was a long ways for the B flight guys.
Yeah, that's a long way for B. Well, I mean, even if, shooting 90, that's 18 over, even on a difficult course, that should still come out to a differential of, I don't know, maybe 15 or 16, something like that.
Yes.
So he should still, you would think he would have a little bit more cushion on that handicap, but it's still something to watch out for, though, to get that bump. You're right.
Score,
we already had Luis get that bump.
That score is not going to push him into A flight, but
no,
it's not going to hurt him as much as you might think if a different
but
score
it will
dropped
get him
off.
Points, though, that if he stays in B flight, it will get him points, because 90 was good enough to finish second in the B flight, and I don't know how many people were in the B flight. Let me look real fast. I don't think they had 8 to get the full 60%. I believe they had, how many people did he have? Oh no, they had 9 people in the B flight. Yeah, so he'll get 80% of 275 points. So he'll get 220 points to extend his lead in the B flight. So, which is good as long as he stays in B flight, right?
He has about a 50-point lead on Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But if he got his 220, now he's close to 300-point lead.
Yeah.
And it's really just those two in B flight. Moving down to C flight, Anthony holds a very slim lead, less than 30 points over Chris Bilba. And Drew also is right there. And he's only a few back of Chris. So it's kind of a 3-man race in C flight.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Tom Messer down there in fourth. You've got Andy Quinton in fifth, and they're only about 400 points back. The advantage that Anthony will have is that he's, because he's at every event, he'll be playing both events. He's going to fill out the schedule. He'll play both events this coming weekend, as well as the final. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at the rosters real fast here to see who else is playing. Tom Messer is playing, and Tom is in fourth. Yeah, Tom Messer is playing Heritage Oaks. I don't have Drew or Chris on the roster for that yet. That doesn't mean they're not playing. They might pay later, pay sometime this week. Chris and Drew are both on the roster for Springbrook on Sunday too. So if either of them also play Heritage on Saturday, then they'll pull a little further away. I'm just picking up some points. So I would even say that Tom Messer and Andy Quinton are not out of it in fourth and fifth, but they would need to, first of all, play all the events we have left and have a good showing too, to make up some ground, because Anthony's not going to miss anything.
And moving down to D flight, Tyrone has moved into first place over Pat Kelly. And it looks like it's pretty much just those two guys, although Michael Taylor is about 500 points back.
Yeah, and then we got Brad in fourth. And again, Brad's not going to miss any events either. Josip in fifth. Josip will pick up a few points because he played TPC Wisconsin as well. So he'll pick up a little bit. But, I mean, Tyrone has won 3 events in a row. And so if he continues to play at the level he's playing, then he's going to be tough to beat. Again, as long as he stays in D flight, because he's at 19.5, and even Pat Kelly there in second place is at 19.6. And so, they don't have a ton of breathing room there. I do have Tyrone on the roster for Springbrook, and I think he's playing Heritage Oaks too. I thought he paid for Heritage Oaks. Yeah, he's playing both. So, and I believe Pat Kelly is only playing on Saturday. He's not playing on Sunday. So, again, as long as Tyrone doesn't shoot some score that's going to bump him into C flight, playing both events this coming weekend is going to help him get a pretty good cushion going into the final.
All right, with just a couple of weeks left, that's the wrap up of the points race. We'll see you both Saturday and Sunday.
All right, we'll see you this weekend. Look forward to it.
Welcome back to the Post Birdie podcast. With me this afternoon, special guest, someone I have literally known his entire life because he's my brother, and also the superintendent at Heritage Oaks, Joe Schneider. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem.
Tell me about the course. I've never played it before.
So we're part of Northbrook Park District. So we actually have 36 holes in the Park District. You guys will be playing the Championship 18. Then we also have on that same property, we have a kind of intermediate 9-hole course. It's a little shorter, a little easier. And then we have a basically beginner executive 9 across town. So you kind of get all different levels of competition and skills that you can play with.
Very cool. What do you know about the history of the course?
So it's been around for like 100 years, but it used to be called Sportsman's Club. And then in 2020, they did it was a full course renovation, but not as in depth as it should have been. But when they did the renovation, they changed it from Sportsman's Club to Heritage Oaks. So at one point, there used to be 36 on that property, and over the years, they sold off a chunk here and a chunk there, and now it's an 18 and a 9. So they're not interchangeable. It's always the same 18 and the same 9. They don't kind of go back and forth, anything like that.
How are the course conditions right now? We've had a lot of rain in the Chicago area recently.
We've taken a beating between the heat and then the rain and then more heat and more rain. We also are a very busy course. A typical day for us is 220 to 250 for golfers, and that's just every day. Saturday looks like a Tuesday. That it's always the same. It's a very busy place. So thankfully we have probably a third of our golfers that are regulars that walk, so that kind of helps alleviate some of the traffic. But it's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of car traffic, and we don't have continuous car paths, so there's spots and fairways that definitely take a beating from that. So we're in a little bit of recovery mode right now. We have a couple fairways that got dinged pretty good from the weather and the traffic, so we're kind of trying to recover those. Weather right now is perfect to get that recovery growth. So it's looking better, but it's a slow process.
What are the greens like?
They're pretty good shape. That is one thing they did in the renovation in 2020 was redid the entire greens. So they're 007, which is a very good grass. They're fairly healthy right now. They get a lot of ball marks, but we do a pretty good job at staying on top of that. Because of the nature of being public course, I try to keep them around 9 to 10 feet. It's kind of just depends on the conditions, but that's kind of where we try to keep. They could go faster, but then your rounds start taking more time, and then you get backups everywhere. So I don't try to speed them up too much, but you slow them down too much, and they're just not that much fun. They're fairly flat. There's some undulation here and there, but you're not going to have any crazy breaks for the most part, unless I really speed them up. But that's generally not what we do.
Tell me about the style of course.
So it's a parkland course, but it's we've got a couple naturalized areas. It's not the kind of old back and forth kind of course. Like there's quite a lot of diversity in the kind of design. You're not just playing the fairway next to the last fairway. You just play it kind of zigzags throughout the property. It's got a couple kind of cool designs. 14 is kind of a mini Brits green. I wish it was a bigger one, but it's not as big as kind of the typical kind of design. But it's got a little bit of that Brit style. There's a couple redans in there too, so it's got a little variety as you're playing. There's a couple ponds that you're hitting over, some things like that. So you don't feel like you've just played the hole you just played 2 holes ago. Every hole's kind of got a little different feel to it.
What about your practice amenities? Tell me about that.
So we do a lot on our driving range. We actually have it's a double end driving range. The public side it's got mats, but with each mat there's a TrackMan. You open the app and there's a QR code, I believe, you scan, and so you can have full TrackMan amenities. They're hitting out on the range. It's got target green, like actual bent grass target greens. It's got a couple bunkers. So it gets a lot of use, but there's a lot of compliments about it. Our pros do a lot of teaching and classes and lessons and things. So the other end is our academy area. That's more for teaching anywhere from beginners up through just regular lessons. We also have a pretty big putting green that gets used by both the 18 and 9-hole course, and a little chipping fairway. It's got a nice green to hit up to. So we kind of got space for you to get warmed up pretty well before your round goes out.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. We'll see you on Saturday.
Sounds great. Glad to have you guys out there.